Yo, check it. Hey yo, DZ fam, this is your weekly outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. We're going to give you everything you need to know as a trader and investor looking at AMC, GME, SPY, Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market, and so much more. You do not want to miss a second of this video, but let's not waste any more of your precious time and hop into charts, facts, data. Let's go.
Hey yo, what is up? You are back for another video with Datazero. This is your weekly outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. This video is not financial advice and should not be taken as such. This is simply my own research and due diligence. Please do your own research and due diligence before buying any stock or crypto asset. Now we're going to be looking into a few key assets that I love, the meme stocks, SPY, and cryptocurrency, giving you guys some predictions and an outlook of what I expect for this week. And hopefully it helps give you some information that can help you throughout your guidance of trading and making moves. So with that all being said, please help the channel with the like button and subscribing. It really helps out with the algorithm. And with all that YouTuber stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and hop in to the video. So the first thing we're going to be talking about here is AMC and GME. Now, there's something strange going on here with AMC that I want to point out to you guys. AMC short interest, and I made several short videos on this, and I talked about this while we were on the live stream, is going down, okay? It's going down. Now, this could be a good thing or this could be a bad thing. You need short interest to see a short squeeze, but it could mean that they are getting in a position to cover, or it could mean that we could see less bearish pressure here moving into the future. It's a lot of things on the table right now. It could mean that they're hiding short interest, but right now I am diving into it, trying to figure out what's going on, and here's what we know right now. Short interest just a month ago was 15%. Then we got a report that said it was 13%. And then shortly after, we got this report saying it's only 12% short interest with 5.18 days to cover, which is decent and still enough short interest for a short squeeze. You want to see at least 8 to 10% short interest, in my personal opinion, to see a short squeeze. Now, you can see at time of recording, they have 4 million short shares available to short. But as far as shorting is concerned, you can see these white volume candles. That's the shorting volume. They've been shorting a ton. They stopped shorting for a little bit. They were still shorting in there. And then they started shorting a lot more. And even more than they were back here. And if I actually show you guys the short volume as well over time, over a long period of time, you can see that they were shorting a lot here in September 2024 into October, into November, December, shorting heavily. Then it dropped down slightly, but moving all the way as early, and we have a report here from 1/10/2025. You can see that short volume is trending up. They only stopped shorting a little tiny bit, and it was still a ton of short volume, way more short volume than we had here in October 2024. And then we had this massive amount of short volume here, and then it came down just a little bit, and it's coming back up. So how, with all of this short volume and them dropping all of these short shares, is the overall total short interest going down? It doesn't make sense. So to me, they're either hiding it in maybe far outdated puts. Again, we all know short interest is self-reported, but to me, this doesn't make sense. Now, it could mean a couple of things, like I said earlier, and I will be diving into it more, but I wanted to bring it to the forefront and bring it to everyone's attention. So that's why I talked about it in this video. So AMC short interest is going down, but it seems like the short volume and the overall amount of shorting isn't stopping. So this doesn't seem to make sense. It almost has like a divergence in the short interest overall and how much shorting is actually going on. So that's what we're looking at for AMC. If we go ahead and look at GameStop metrics, right now short interest is at 7.66%, and I still think that's enough for a short squeeze for GME. I think that some shorts did get out of GME. We actually seen people like Citron Research announce after this latest move for GME, when GME rocketed to the upside and made that 500% move, that they would not be shorting anymore, and they announced that publicly when they got this nasty move to the upside here. So I think some shorts are getting out of GME, and I explained that with the repeating algo cycle. And I think GME is about to go on a bull run, and I've been saying that in my videos. But overall, GME right now, if we go ahead and look at the metrics, you can see that we're looking at 1.1 million short shares available to short at 0.32% cost to borrow, and AMC's cost to borrow is sitting at 0.51%. We want to see cost to borrow go up on both of the meme stocks. If you do see cost to borrow shoot up, that's a sign that you can use personally and say, hey, something could be going on if you see cost to borrow skyrocket. Again, that normally means something unusual is happening. If you see cost to borrow just make huge candles to the upside. So that's what we're looking at for AMC and GME as far as short interest, cost to borrow, shares available to short, and things like that. Let's go ahead and move into the technicals and show you guys what we could see here on Monday and what we're expecting throughout the week. And again, I will be live, so like and subscribe if you do want to see and catch these things live. Make sure you put the bell notification on as well. I want to prepare you guys for possible downside here on Monday, as I think AMC will get a little bit of excitement pre-market pop to the upside and then have to come back down and retest $3.72. Now, if AMC can manage to hold $3.80, there's a chance that we could pop to the upside, but I'm expecting to see a move to the downside because of how much short interest we have, and plus it could create a possible double bottom type structure and grab liquidity as well. They come down, grab some liquidity, and then pop to the upside. We have two gap fills, one on the daily time frame and then one here on the smaller time frames like the 5, the 10, the 15. The one here is at 402 to 403, and then we have a gap fill here at like 391 to 392. That's on the daily time frame. So AMC will recover and get a bounce back to the upside. Also, RSI is extremely oversold. Normally, when we see RSI get this oversold on AMC, shortly after we get large rallies to the upside. So again, that is not something to hype you guys up. That's just what happens. Normally when RSI on the 4-hour time frame starts to get this low, and you can look back historically, like here, we had this huge rally. So let's see how long this rally was here, top to bottom. When we started to go parabolic before we got the disappointing dilution news, 37% high to low. RSI got extremely oversold, and then we got that big pop to the upside. We had this big drop to the downside here. That doesn't correlate, but you can see when RSI, even this little rally here, RSI got oversold, and you had this little rally here. So you do tend to get rallies when RSI gets this oversold on the 4-hour time frame. Plus, if you go ahead and pop on the Bollinger Bands, you can see that we're outside of the bands. So I'm expecting AMC to get a pop back to the upside, especially if we see that drop back down to 372. I just want y'all to be prepared for that in the morning if you do see that. And then I'm expecting it to actually bounce back to the upside. And I'm thinking overall that AMC is going to be having a green week because of this. I think that this is around the bottom, and potentially we could get that news that dilution is over this week. There's no guarantee on that. I have some things telling me that it might happen this week or next week. There's no guarantee on that. And I'll put out more facts tomorrow if I can put all of the things that I have together, maybe put in a video or talk about it in the live stream. But it could be happening this week or next week. Don't be surprised if you do see that filing come out this week or next week. So overall, the technicals are showing me that AMC is extremely oversold. We had this falling wedge breakout, which should have led higher. They shorted us down, but right now we're, again, extremely oversold, way outside of the bands, and I'm thinking we're going to see a pop to the upside, in my personal opinion, but not before seeing a little bit more downside. You can even see on the daily time frame we're way outside of the bands, and RSI is starting to get oversold. If we see that drop down in the morning like I'm expecting, dropping down to about 372, maybe 370, 368, then you'll see a major pop to the upside. You'll see RSI on the daily time frame go oversold, and the smart buyers will be stepping in. And if you go ahead and look at AMC as well here on the charts, you can see that there's actually buy orders down here at these lower ranges, ready to catch AMC if it does fall down into those liquidity ranges. So this is what I'm looking at for AMC stock as far as I am concerned. I think it's extremely oversold. We're about to move down to that 374 and then get a pop to the upside. This could happen as early as Monday. Multiple gap fills to the upside. AMC will recover. And that's what I'm looking at for AMC. So as far as GME is concerned, GME, I want to warn you guys that we could see some potential pullback, but What it looks like GME is about to pull off could be a nasty move to the upside. Again, GME overall, when in doubt, zoom out. If I just really show you guys, GME's been an absolute beast. We're still in this overall uptrend. This uptrend is intact. So I have no reason to believe why this uptrend won't remain intact. Also, we have buy orders. We still have huge signals. Like if I go ahead and put on the super trend and pop out to the weekly time frame, you can see we have that weekly buy signal, and we've been holding it the same way we had a weekly buy signal here and held it, and then we had this crazy move. We have this weekly buy signal here, and we rallied, and we're still holding it. We could see a crazy move to the upside. We have green weekly MACD. We have green monthly MACD. We're breaking out of a nasty falling wedge. GameStop is, I don't care what anyone says, off the chain and could definitely see a pop to the upside. GameStop's a beast right now. And when GameStop really starts to rally, when it gets past $35, $40, then you'll see AMC start to move as well. And if AMC could start to recover and put pressure on the shorts as well in conjunction with GameStop rallying, then you'll see both of these stocks really start to pump. So it's worse when you have both of them having pressure on them. So that's why the dilution was good timing for them now, because it kind of took AMC down and then it let them focus on GameStop a little bit more. And they'll just short AMC, short AMC, short AMC while the dilution isn't happening, while it's happening. And then that's exactly what we're seeing. They're shorting heavily while the dilution is happening. Why would you short a stock while dilution is happening unless you were desperate to get that stock down as far as possible? So GameStop, it looks like we have this possible bull flag, and we could see a pop to the upside. I am worried about maybe a double top here, top one, top two, where we have these two wicks. I need to see GameStop hold the key level of 31.89, okay? 31.89 needs to be held. If we lose that, we could drop down to 31.38. We don't want to really go much lower than that. And if we broke the levels of 30.45, that would be bad, because that would be the double top playing out. So we don't want to see that. But right now we have this bullish pennant. I think we're going to see some pullback maybe Monday and Tuesday, and then get a pop to the upside later in the week. But if GameStop can manage to break above 32.90, then you're going to see GameStop start to move towards, obviously, 33.50. And then we have this resistance at 34.39, that if we can break above that, we can go towards 35.20. Now, this is the last week for my price target. I told you guys that I predicted GameStop to be around the $35 to $40 mark by the 17th. This is the last week for that price target. If we go ahead and look at the GameStop's options chain, it looks like some of the calls that were on the 17th were rolled over to the 24th. You can see that we have some green here on the 24th. And if you look at the open interest lost from the 17th, it matches to the 24th. So it looks like some people are rolling their calls out. It does look like they still are expecting something extremely bullish this week, as we do have strikes and action. Now, again, some people were taking money off of the table. You can see that here with the red. So that means either rolling them or just cutting their losses. But strike as high as 125, and you can see a massive amount of short interest, or open interest. I do apologize. Open interest here on GME stock, 2.6 billion. Let me put this in your head and give you perspective. It's normally in the millions. This is in the billions. 2.6 billion in open interest stacked to the call side. So I don't know what the market makers or who big money is expecting, but you can see there's actually a massive amount of volume, 54,000 in volume, 154,000 in open interest at the 125 strike price for GME. So I don't know what they're expecting this week, but possibly expecting something this week, and then possibly expecting something next week, as also the 24th expiration date is looking very, very bullish. You can see option activity here in like 54, 51, 43, 39.50. And then you can also see it stacked to the call side, 70 million. And that's a normal thing, million. This one on the 17th, this week, 2.6 billion in open interest. So I don't know. I'm not saying this to hype you up. I'm just saying the options chain is just crazy open interest. If we do start pushing, we would get a bananas gamma ramp, okay? I'm just letting you guys know that now. So potentiality of a GameStop breakout to the upside, if it happened, and then we do break above 32.90, it could move towards 35 very, very quickly, and then things could get out of control and easily hit my price target. But this is the last week for that to happen. If it doesn't happen this week, there's a very good chance that it could happen next week, and if I'm a week off, that's fine, but I'm not going to move the goalpost. This is the last week for that price target to happen, okay? So I'm not going to move the goalpost to the next week. This is the last week for that to happen. But I think if it doesn't happen this week, it still could potentially happen next week. So that's what I'm looking at for GameStop. I think we're going to see a green week. What you're going to probably see Monday is a little bit push to the upside here pre-market and then drop down, retesting 31.89 and hopefully holding that as support. We do not want to lose that level of support. If we do hold it as support and then manage to break above this yellow sloping support and resistance here, this line here, this overall downtrend that we've been in, if we can break above that, you're going to see a nice pop to the upside here for GME stock. It looks like we're potentially forming a bull flag or falling wedge. So that looks like it could form over, the next couple of days. We're really going to have to see. But it looks like we're going to get a breakout here soon. This looks like it could be a consolidation week for GameStop. I'm hoping we get a pop to the upside this week, maybe later in the week, Thursday and Friday, when the gamma ramp would be much easier to happen. If we started moving to the upside on Thursday and Friday, they would have to hedge very, very rapidly. So maybe we do consolidate here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then start pushing up Thursday and Friday. But that should give us the green week that we're looking for, and maybe we get this explosive move, and then it goes into next week. But I don't want to get people too hype, but GameStop is looking very, very good. Also, if we look at the fractal and everything, we have the repeating fractal theory. It seems to be playing out. We have the falling wedge as well with the repeating fractal theory. So we have all of these things playing out. We literally had the falling wedge double bottom to bull flag breakout, double bottom, falling wedge, bull flag breakout. Now we're trending up. If we break above 34, 32, we're absolutely going to launch. And they have sell walls up here. Why would they have these sell walls up here if they don't think price could go that high? And why would they have call options all the way at 125 if they don't think price could go that high? And just based off of the technicals alone of a falling wedge, you could see price go that high. Because and I've done this for Bitcoin. That's how I got the Bitcoin price target and told you guys how high Bitcoin was going to go. Before it ever happened and before we ever got the bull run, I simply took the high from the low and then moved it over and gave you guys the target. And it was like at 80, 90,000. And you can see here with GameStop, it's a higher high. That's what falling wedges do. You make a higher high. And I showed you guys this with Bitcoin. I showed you guys the same thing. Like, I'm not saying GameStop is Bitcoin. I'm just saying technicals are technicals. They work out. So I showed you guys, hey, Bitcoin has this falling wedge, and this is when people are literally laughing at me about it. Like, oh, Bitcoin could never go that high. I took the high from the low, boom, and said, well, guess what? I believe from the falling wedge that we're going to see Bitcoin hit, 80, 90,000. And look at where Bitcoin hit. Uptrend, falling wedge, boom. And then GameStop has the same thing. Uptrend, falling wedge, you could potentially go to a higher high. So that's what I'm looking at for GameStop, macro, micro, weekly outlook and prediction, green week for AMC. Let's go ahead and move into SPY and continue on with this absolute banger of a video. So SPY, I think we're going to see a push to the upside here pre-market, maybe a possible little bit of a bull trap running to the upside. And then I think we're going to correct back down, okay? I think SPY is going to come up, and I could be wrong about how high we go because it looks like we're breaking out of a falling wedge from after hours of Friday. So you could see SPY push up like to 581.02. If it can hold that level of support, you could push up to as high as 582.60. But I think we're going to continue down on SPY. SPY has to break above this sloping support and resistance. I do think we're going to get a bounce because RSI is extremely oversold here on the 4-hour time frame. 2-hour time frame is about to get oversold. 4-hour time frame is already oversold. If you look at the daily time frame, like we have a little bit of room to run, but that head and shoulders played out. The head and shoulders played out on SPY, and then NASDAQ is also breaking down out of this nasty rising wedge. So this is just not good for the market. And then if we look at the market leaders like NVIDIA, we got that exit liquidity where I told you guys basically Bank of America wanted you to be exit liquidity, and they told you to load up on the 5th, which was in between the weekend here. We had this little rally here, and then you, of course, were exit liquidity and had to hold the bags, and that's exactly what they wanted because big positions need volume to sell those big positions. So this is what I'm looking at for the overall market. It looks like NVIDIA is making a potential double top here. You can see these two tops here. And again, GameStop and AMC could see some pressure weighed on it from the market. And I want you guys to watch the video I talked about if you do see SPY crashing. I gave you guys just a theory and showed you guys historical context where it did happen before. I'm not saying GameStop is Volkswagen, but I showed you guys where SPY started to trend down, it capitulated, and then that's when Volkswagen squeezed. Volkswagen started to trend up as SPY was trending down. You can line up the months here, July to October, and then if you look from July to October, SPY was trending down as Volkswagen was trending up, and then once SPY capitulated, Volkswagen died, but then it squeezed. So even if you were to see something like that on the meme stocks where you saw a capitulation, because GameStop has been trending up. So even if you were to see a capitulation, it might not be over. You guys need to make your own minds up when it comes to this thing. I don't think we necessarily have to see a major capitulation, but if the stock market's tanking and giving us a huge headwind, it could pull the meme stocks back before a margin call comes in, and then you see a major squeeze. Again, you guys have to play it how you play it. I'm going to be live when this stuff is happening. So whatever is happening, I should be able to put the pieces together, but everyone has to do their own research. But you could see a capitulation in the meme stocks straight to the downside and then a squeeze. So it's never over until it's over. Now, again, as far as SPY is concerned and NVIDIA is concerned, I think we're, sorry about that little segue. I think we're going to see this double top potentially play out. Apple's definitely pulling back. Huge downtrend. If Apple loses the key level of 236.03 to about 235.90, you're going to see a major pullback. So if Apple loses that level, you'd see a very steep pullback. And I think the market is basically on its last legs. If you ask me, I think we're going to see a red week on SPY. So what you need to look out for is these data sets, and this is why I think we're going to see a red week as well. You can see inflation, the consensus and forecast for the year over year. Looks like it's going to be coming out higher, so inflation looks like it's going to be coming out higher. It's not going away. It's remaining sticky. We also have unemployment rising and staying high, which is called stagflation. We've been in stagflation for quite some time now, and the economy's not getting better. And the American consumer cannot survive in stagflation. It's high employment and high inflation, and it's devastating. And we've been in it for about a year and a half now, if not longer. High inflation with unemployment rising. And you can see the unemployment is at 4.3 with our last rating, or was it 4.2? Either way, that's still highly elevated. And then, of course, we have inflation potentially coming up. If you see inflation do come out hot, like this is saying, the market will tank, and that would be on Wednesday. Okay, so I think we're going to see some bounce on SPY. Don't go crazy shorting because RSI is low. Make sure you use your entries. If you're in the Discord, you'll be fine because I'll put out some plays for you. So don't worry about that. But I think we could see some upside, letting RSI, get out of the oversold territory, and then we're going to see a continuation to the downside, in my personal opinion. But I don't think SPY is anywhere done from bleeding yet, and we're going to see another red week. So as far as everything is concerned, green week for AMC, green week for GME, red week for SPY. Before anyone says that's absolutely crazy, we've already seen it before in history, and I've called it before. So those are the weekly outlook and predictions for stocks and crypto, meme stocks and crypto. Let's go ahead and go into Bitcoin and show you all Bitcoin and what's going on. So Bitcoin, I think, is going to eventually decouple from the stock market. I think it could happen here as early as 2025. I also want to point out some things here that are very, very bearish for the stock market as well. Just the fact that the Dixie's been going up the dollar and it's been rising over the weekend, very, very bearish for stocks. I just want to point that out here. And then the VIX also is starting to elevate as well. But again, going back to Bitcoin holding up, possible head and shoulders here on BTC if we lose the key level of 91.6. Now, I was showing people earlier that there are buy orders right where that level would be if we broke down from the head and shoulders. So you have your head and shoulders pattern. You would come down to these price targets here of about 86 to 75K. And you can see there's buy orders from like 86 to 80K. Now, if we did break down, I personally think you would come down to about 85 to 78K. If we did break down from this head and shoulders, losing the key level of 91,000, and that would be a buy order, a buying zone, in my personal opinion. So you could see something like this for Bitcoin. Now, we have seen this type of head and shoulders form before, and then seen Bitcoin just simply consolidate out of it. We've seen it here in this bull flag. So it's too early to tell, and we haven't lost that level. We got to bounce above it. This could be the last bounce, before we lose that level. It's too early to tell, but you want to be aware that you could see this dip in Bitcoin, especially if SPY starts to melt to the downside. I often notice that Bitcoin gets sold as liquidity. This is just my personal opinion. It's not straight fact. Maybe you can talk to somebody who knows and's been inside these hedge funds, but I believe, and obviously, this is a fact. Bitcoin is a very liquid asset. It can be turned to cash very, very quickly, and then that cash can be moved where it needs to be moved to cover margin. So I often notice that when the SPY dumps and it's really dumping, I feel like they're selling Bitcoin to cover for margin calls and to gain liquidity. So that's why I think when we see the market absolutely crash, like we've seen here, and again, this was a whole different scenario, but the C flu where you saw the market crash, Bitcoin dumped, but then ran up dramatically. Now, the market also did the same thing as well, but I think that if we were to see that now, we would see Bitcoin dump and then continue up, in my personal opinion, because I feel like Bitcoin is slowly decoupling from the stock market. We have ETFs now. We possibly have a bullish Bitcoin president. So many things coming into play, possibly a bullish SEC. I think 2025 is going to be great for crypto. I think we're going to see an altcoin season in 2025. I'm predicting around March, April, May, around those times. And we've seen altcoins doing very, very well over this weekend. Cardano ADA was making some moves. Cardano ADA is actually setting up for a possible pop to the upside here. If it breaks above $1.25, you're going to see it launch, and it looks like it's consolidating to break above that $20.25 level. So watch for that. Also, we have Ethereum possibly setting up for a huge move here as well. It's in a massive macro accumulation. If this breaks out, Ethereum is going to be going to new all-time highs. Right now, Bitcoin dominance is still too high for an altcoin season, but we're starting to see what you see. You see Bitcoin run up, then you see it stall out or have a dump to the downside, similar to what you've seen here in this massive bull run. It ran up crazy, then it stalled out, dumped down. We had a little bit of an altcoin season here, which is what we've seen. We've seen a little bit of an altcoin season as Bitcoin was running. Some altcoins did well, not all of them. But then it dumped, and then when it ran up again, all altcoins went crazy, and it was absolutely nuts. So, I mean, we did see some mania here as well, but this, we saw absolute, it was wild. Altcoins were gaining, like, every altcoin was gaining like 20 to 50% almost every day on my portfolio. It was wild. So I think we're starting to see that, where we can maybe see a pullback and then another run up. Bitcoin consolidating, stalling out, and then we get that altcoin season. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If we did see a major crash in the market, I think you would see a pullback and then a decoupling from the market, in my personal opinion, and it would be more of a reserve, especially in a depressionary type or recessionary type of environment, like precious metals are, because it does have a fixed cap, because you have to do proof of work and mine it. Bitcoin fundamentals will decouple it from the stock market, in my personal opinion. So this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin cryptocurrency market. I think it's going to provide great opportunities Right now, RSI cooling down, so we could possibly make another move to the upside. Still bullish MACD on the weekly time frame and on the monthly time frame, so we are looking good for a possible continuation to the upside, in my personal opinion. If you got to the end of this video, man, I truly appreciate it, because so few people watching the end, and that helps me out immensely with the algorithm. If you want to support the channel, just leave a like and comment down below. I have a merch store as well. You guys can check out that link in the comment section and description. I also have a Discord as well, which I talked about earlier, where I give out buy signals, sell signals. I put out news, exclusive technicals, things of that nature. So if you want to check that out, you guys can. That's going to be $100 for a lifetime invite made via PayPal or Cash App. Once you make payment, I'll send you the link. Hit up my email, DataZeroOfficial5, which is linked in the description as well, to go ahead and get a hold of me, and I'll give you information about all of that as well. And if you're watching right now, I would greatly appreciate it if when the video drops, you would drop a comment and leave a like on it as well. Thank you, everybody, for the support, because the support's been absolutely crazy. Someone even dropped a super chat on the weekend, man, just showing love as soon as the live stream opened. So thank you. As always, y'all, you know what it is. Have fun. That's the most important part. Stay safe. Make money. Peace out, fam.
Alright, y'all, that's the video. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like. Press subscribe for more content like this. Remember, you can check me out on Twitter and Discord for even more DataZero updates. Discord is $100 for a lifetime invite. You want to get in before the price goes up. That's going to be around this summer. So make sure you guys get in now. And I appreciate y'all for watching to the end, because so few people watch to the end, and that helps me out with the algorithm a lot. And as always, y'all, have fun. Stay safe. Make money. Peace.